Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Discovery Scouts and Pirates of the Caribbean film series. Simon Angels here. This is my best friend's Corn. This is the best friend's Cornfields. Michael White. The Mark Lewis, and we're just here in the Ferrucci Junior High School. Today's the day is Sunday, June 25th, 2023. Um, we're just here for for Flock Institution today with about the situation here for about the last 5 times for about at least at about tomorrow is the last day of the school. All is concerned about the past 12 years ago. I just went to for the first time on the single phone. It's honest for you on the Piala and due to about besides the dollar stores when I took this one about a couple years ago. So basically, I usually for about at therefore to it for about all I have a considering for about at least in the time of the year. Speaking of Noah, so about all this time and soon as possible when I took this one about for last year ago. I was gonna have to do this one about all this ones of the private buildings as far as that I take and just shake it off my head. So today we're back here for about from Ferrucci Junior High School as far as I'm saying for about this questioning as I can. All we need to do is about just hang out here, just walk around and sit down and just has been about evolutions of what I take care of for this one, so what I took. That's like the possibilities as far as that I like about the misfortunes of the gentleman here and that's like the last few minutes ago. That definitely do for about for last time. I saw them out as soon as possible when I took this one about for at least few years ago. I this one's about be our guest. So even most of the quiz through Bella wasn't in about the past 7 years or 10 months. Be merciful for all the time between Frankie's graduation between us. Like sold him out. So we're just walking to the tour for about same old deed. So this is stairs. We're just a lot of young people just walking up there for about just like every day with 9 months ago. So we just do the same time for about at least it was it and the tourism for figure out all I have to need to says. And that's all we know. We just remember for about yesterday. It started about I was in hiatus about for the last 35 days ago for about it used to be the end of the last Family and Fun Adventures of California on Universal Studios and the Disneyland, the Disney California Adventures. That was mentioned of MGM Grand. That's the last appears. SeaWorld, the Six Flags, Magic Mountains, Golden Gate Bridge. I have to say goodbye to hometown for the Fairfield, California, as far as that I do. Do I just say goodbye to it already for about Fairfield, California? All I have to do is about make a hometown for about Bill from hometown was it in Puyallup, Washington, with the South Hill and Meridian. So all I have to take this ones is probably be our guest. So I have to sit down over there. So probably just sit over there as far as I can. So I do the best on the Mrs. Horn's class about I just misses her for reasons for Mrs. Leanne Horn. I do want it to be best ever as I take. So like most of all, the grateful to it. Exciting news about the party ways. Sorry. I was just speaking about the parting words of the 3 years in the Emerald Ridge High School. So all I have the same time for about at least to take a credits for. I wish it about it took credits for about the track practice for about at least at about the track practices about around the track due to about the stretching legs and all around the world, just like cross country, making the credits with Redeemer as reward. Therefore, um, I was sure about realize the author had been done so well. So far as I get this one that we guessed about for no reason we could. So that's like as much as I could between me and Corn, Michael, and Mark. All we did for the talk about this one for about the evolution of the 12 years since I was in the Ridgecrest and 2005, like sometimes the 2,360 days. And sometimes they do have about Ferrucci Junior High School is the same times about 1,011 days. Even the clues Emerald Ridge is 1,017 days as to the high schools. The total was of the elementaries, junior high, so high school was in about 12 years. That would be 4,388 days. It's hard to get for about 4,388 days of the Ridgecrest, Ferrucci, and Emerald Ridge. It all the time. I just beloved Ridgecrest Raiders, Ferrucci Cougars, and Emerald Ridge Jaguars. All the same time for about enlisted about the histories for the elementaries, junior highs, or high schools. At all time, we just have to talk about this anymore, anytime. We just talked about this anytime, as sooner as possible as we can, and we just do for about making shoes about the making friendships, half of the infants and children's, the wives, the husbands. I could go for the visitor as far as you can due to the malls as we can for about the country, the world. That's the world's alike as we do, but best like you. So we're just gonna have to thought about it a few moments ago. So I just look up straight to the there. So look at that sometimes at that portable place for the teacher's class or the portable one for former Mrs. Horn's class. I was walking through the tour for about at least the yesterday's, just remembering that I was always there for the Ferrucci tour for about portable 1, 2, 3, 4. That's like all as soon as much possible. We came for about as soon as possible. So accordingly, all I have to been done as well for about all I have to did this one about we did this a lot of time for about it begins and ends about the 3 years. Just like the same time between Chris, Justin, Frankie, and I, Bella, the like of the 7 years and 10 months on the last 8 years. Between the timelines, like as soon as possible, is sometimes it does really care about it does about the daycare and the daycare takers as I take. So it is sometimes it does really matters that I take. So what are you thinking about this, guys? Yeah, this is pretty good, dude. That's like a pretty good and have to making much time for friends. What are you thinking about the coin? Yeah, we're just having a great time about make friends, or friendships, or loves. Make much of about the very interesting about the last few moments ago. So I was gonna have to talk about this as one Regal reservation thing, the activation of the phones between informations, activations, invitation, and reservation all the time as far as it could for about next year, was it in about next summer 2024. 2025 summer goes to about later years and about the 20th anniversary. Um, Same time, I believe I just walk in the besides all I can. So I definitely do. So I go. Well, let's go to the soccer fields, with maybe besides behind the portable place for the classrooms. So make it do about really best ever if I do. So just like one of those about the Ferrucci tour, so as far as I take. For this one's a soccer field. This one's a soccer field. Sorry, I'm just saying I'm just very confusable, almost confused. So this is soccer field. As far as the junior high school kids, as far as I can. So look at this one. So all these ones are the fields. I just ran to around for like a track for the soccer fields, like cross country. All the girls seem to jog around for the cross country with Mrs. Van Hooley's class for about either September or November. Like sometimes they have the 3-year cross country only for girls like this. They must just like about as much of the years as far as I can. I do the being the best ever as I do. So it is about the great restorations ones as I take. So all of this ones about the soccer fields, this is for the kids. So about as far as about the varsity and the JV girls soccer as I can. Even takes over about much of the 60 days as much as she can to do about the Mr. Watts and Mrs. Watt and Mr. Anderson and Mr. Bacon and Mr. Bacon's the soccer coach. So as far as they're really concerned about this ends as soon as possible, like before the Aprils. And that's like about the starts now, if it starts it ends. But that sooner much possibilities. That wasn't in about I'm almost did for about the whole the same schools districts for about the graduate undergraduates as soon as much possible. For like even 15s and sooner much possible. I was in the last 15 years ago. I was in the tour of the Mrs. Rodolph and Mrs. Welch and Miss Lorian and Mrs. Rochester's and Mrs. Rasmussen's, where I call it Miss Stephanie. So if you have any questions for me, so feel free to join in for about the videos action for every day, just like others about the YouTube studios, like Richard Studios, like Majaga is a Big Brother. That's all I need, which we can't tell anybody the secrets. Alright guys, so thank you so much for coming in guys. So it's good to know how the back, except for my apology, accepted yesterday. Don't forget to hit the button to subscribe to more content. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Google Divine Cameras, Telegrams, and TikToks, and subscribe to the DD33 and the Hunter Call for the Wild Animal Coast as missions, and Flinters, the Lone Gamers, Run Tubes, Run Tubes, the Lone Gamers, and Zaggy DKs, and the Spanish Worlds, the Jazzy Beard. So feel free to watch it on YouTube channels. Feel free to watch it on Overhand Shuffles. Like sometimes they do the best effort, the best of 2022 and Revelatory Coast and the New England Mountains. Feel free to watch. Feel free to don't forget to keep it veggie mateys.